for 6 against him. Josh is saying that's a foul ball. Vic Carapazza didn't see it that way, and Josh is going to be tagged out for the final out of the inning. Josh Reddick was not pleased with the call at the end of this inning.
He thought he foul tipped it. Vic Carapazza disagreed. And we know that Josh Reddick goes to Snapville a little bit. Throws the bat in disappointment of the AB. Spiked the helmet. He actually got fined for that one immediately. Continuing to chatter with Vic Carapazza. He said his piece and began to walk away. And then with the throw of the batting gloves, that's enough, I guess, for Vic Carapazza to be offended and throw out the right fielder. I don't get that. If you're throwing guys out on equipment violations like that, you're a little nitpicky for me. I know it may be in the rule books.
We're seeing this a little bit more as the season progresses from Alex Cora. Hardly saw it all last year.
I wonder if he's going to give the home plate umpire an earful. That's what I'm wondering right now, because he's not saying much.
Yep.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And he's been thrown out.
Exactly right.
So the Red Sox manager has been run. The Red Sox have been upset since the very first inning with Mike Estabrook. And Alex Cora, for one reason only, went out there, and that was to give Estabrook an earful. Second time he's been ejected this season. Well, Estabrook got an earful as Chris Sale marched off the hill. His day ended 7-1 Yankees. And Estabrook has heard about it.
Yeah, he threw him out of the game. Well, he's surprised. He's out of the game.
Well, it has been a miserable day now for the Red Sox in the first of the doubleheader.
The two of us included. But then they followed up 18 runs on 15 hits Saturday, 7 runs, 9 hits. And now Tom Hallion has ejected Gerard Dyson.
That's the way it goes.
That strike zone's been getting a little creative lately, and somebody finally had enough.
If you're going to call pitches that far off the outside corner, you cannot afford to have a quick trigger. You got to understand that a bad call is going to upset a hitter. He's made a number of them tonight.
Gerard's got to get out of there. Tony Perez-Chica trying to get him into the dugout as Torrey gets an explanation. Let's take a look at where that pitch was, and not to make too big a deal out of it, but we've seen a few of these here tonight.
It's over there near Avondale. And it's a breaking ball. That thing was never in the strike zone.
And Torrey is still going with Hallion back there, the crew chief. And you know, Tom is a veteran umpire. He's going to let the manager have his say in these situations.
Fouled off by Narvaez. Lined up. Bogey still.
I told him not to do that.
Well, that was Mark Wagner. Somebody just got run. Bogey is really steamed.
Well, it was a close pitch on the inside corner to Vogie for strike 3, and Vogie does have such a great concept of the strike zone. He thought that was in, and Mark Wegner thought it was a strike. You can see the pitch here just in off the inside corner, and Daniel was not happy about it.
Maben down looking. Not happy with the call. And based on our K-box, he has an argument.
Well, Foley's been right there all night with his slider, either in the zone or just below and at 84 miles an hour. You can tell what they think. Guardy's got the bat out again. Well, Chris Siegel's calling strikes. He's definitely more prone to call borderline pitches strikes. Like that. He's been consistent all night long.
Yeah. Oh, well, someone just got tossed. And he's saying, who'd you throw out? And I think he's saying he threw out Gardner. And now he's saying, no, that was me.
Boone's got a legitimate beef here because he didn't even look in the dugout before he threw out the players. So he probably didn't know who was screaming at him because the whole dugout was screaming at him. The young umpire jumped the gun there if indeed it's Gardner who got thrown out.
And now Gardner's going to come out and have a word. He's saying, I didn't say anything. I didn't say one word. And Gardner's having to be held back by Aaron Boone. He is furious. And reasonably so, as Chris Siegel, with rabbit ears, tosses Brett Gardner from the Yankee dugout. And both Boone and Gardner claiming that it was not Gardner who he heard.
Let me tell you something. Brett Gardner is strong. You cannot hold him back. I mean, Boone's doing a good job, but Gardner's deceptively strong. And secondly, he's got a legitimate beef. I mean, the home plate umpire can legitimately throw anybody he wants out for arguing balls and strikes. But he wasn't even looking in the dugout. He just turned and threw somebody out without even pointing at a specific player. And it ends up being Gardner. Could have been any number of guys in the dugout that were all talking about the strike zone and arguing balls and strikes. But for some reason, he jumped the gun and just threw out Gardner. That's a young umpire. That's a mistake.
And Gardner obviously chapped.
No, usually they'll look in the dugout and say that's enough and give you a warning.
Right.
And he didn't give him a chance for that.
I mean, that's the thing, David, is you will sometimes see an umpire, if a player keeps tripping on the bench, look in and say, okay, that's enough. I don't know that I've ever seen a guy give the no-look hook without a warning.
That's exactly what it was.
And Acuna on deck for the Braves. Time called. And in fact, a balk was called on Caleb Smith. And I think, I'm not sure, umpires are going to get together. I think time was called first.
Caleb stating his case.
And now Donnie out. Second base umpire John Tumpain, I believe, was the one that called the balk. Question is, did John Bacon call time, or is there something else that Donnie's upset about?
Now, it looked like Caleb was communicating to Ted Barrett. Wow, Donnie's been tossed. You got to be kidding me. I mean, I'm not even convinced that the umpires are unified on this decision, that's this balk call, and they're still talking amongst themselves. And
it looked to be instantaneous, but see, Caleb's saying he was moving his glove to say, I'm going through the signs again.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And he's saying that that he had started and stopped. I guess that's what he's calling him for. That's.
Yeah, to me, the balk and the time were simultaneous.
Here's the speed of Wong and a swinging bunt, and he's safe. Oh, and I hope he's okay. And Stubby had to confirm to him, am I safe? Yes, you are. And his second hit.
That's one of the most difficult plays for a catcher to make down the line like that. You want to miss the runner. He was thinking about missing the runner. He didn't want to hit him with the ball.
Viloria just had to go too far to get that baseball. It was just a swinging bunt and exactly in the right place and kind of in no man's land.
Ned just got tossed
by first base umpire Greg Gibson.
You know, it's possible on a play like that it's an interference type deal, and they probably were yelling from the dugout, and Gibson didn't want to hear it.
Now Jerry Davis, the crew chief, comes over. That's the third time that Ned has been ejected this year.
The runner has to be in that lane, and he's obviously inside the lane.
That was his argument.
And this guy.
He was a minor league pitcher of the year in the organization.
Hey,
a lot because of that.
You don't yell at me. You want to
Wow. How about that? Eric Cooper got tired of it.
That's the Coop we know.
Strike three. Maben thought it was ball 4. Has a word with Ben May.
Maybe you don't see argue very much, so not one of the guys that really questions a lot of calls. Balls away. They got to agree with you. Oh, this is a warning. When the umpire's staring at you in the dugout, you're better off just not saying anything because he's getting ready to throw you out.
And someone got thrown out, and it looks like it's Aaron Boone. Is he talking about savages in the box?
I think so. We're going to have to go to the press conference now. Now you got to stick around. In my mind, when you're staring in the dugout as an umpire, you're almost picking a fight. And Tom Hallian's going to come in. But, why don't you just tell your home plate umpire before this happens, quit looking in the dugout.
And now he's going at it again. I don't know if he just threw out Josh Bard.
Michael, you might be managing for this.
Oh, it's Gardner.
CeCe just got thrown out, too. There's several players that have been thrown out.
Wow.
Not only by the home plate umpire, by the first base umpire.
So the first base umpire threw out Gardner. That's why he's arguing with him. That's Phil Cuzzy.
We have multiple players thrown out by 2 different umpires.
Well, you see, Maben was saying how much it missed, and then Gardner was hitting the top of the dugout again. I don't know if that's what got him thrown out. Watch the home plate umpire after Maben went back to the dugout. He's looking over.
Yeah, that
gone.
That to me is just picking a fight. I mean, Coney, you've been over there before. I mean, there's no reason for the umpire to be in your dugout.
Now, Cuzzy just told him, you can see by the hand motion, you got thrown out for banging the top of the dugout. It's become a thing now. It's 3 games where he's seen him do it, and I guess the word is going around umpires. If that happens, let's throw him out. We can't have that. And that was his one final exclamation point. I don't understand why that's something that gets you ejected. You're not cursing at the umpire, not saying the magic word. You're just showing aggression in the dugout, which is away from what the fans could see.
Trying to wake up the bats,
I think you hit the nail on the head, Michael. Word is out. And that last video where the T-shirts are made up and the whole savages in the box thing, umpires look at social media too, so there's no doubt that the radar is up among the umpires for the Yankees right now.
And then they got Springer, and back-to-back years, and Gardy having a little trouble with the home plate umpire.
He didn't like the strike zone, especially on that last one. He's all fired up. Now he's gone. He got his he got his money worth, that's for sure.
Well, I know that Miguel Cabrera, he might have thrown Miggy out. Miguel Cabrera had some words with him his last plate appearance. And there might have been some chirping from the bench, so I think that's what happened is Miggy.
You're right.
Got tossed.
Yeah, he did.
Well, I can tell you what happened here. This close pitch, it's called a ball, and it should be. And he looks over. We're talking about Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire. He looks over. He heard something. It must have been Miguel Cabrera. And he throws Miggy out, and Gardy comes out to protect his star player.
Everybody's over it, and we play baseball.
I love what Brian said. Once my head hits the pillow, we start with a clean slate. And he's true to his word. And Acuna got hit with the first pitch of the game. So he's going to flip the bat. He's going to very slowly walk toward first base. Home plate umpire Alan Porter is escorting him. It's not the first time Acuna's been hit with the first pitch of a game by a Marlins pitcher. Jorge Alfaro is talking to Acuna too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Hernandez would have any reason to do that. I mean, you know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I understand Ronald's anger over it. Not the first time, like you say.
So now the question is, will any warnings be issued? Alan Porter's talking with Hernandez, and yep, warnings are going to be issued here. And the Braves dugout is none too happy about that. Brian Snitker now wants an explanation from the home plate umpire. Mark Wegner is the first base umpire, and Brian's pleading his case here.
Yeah, that's a part of this in baseball that I just don't like. I mean, I get it. You're trying to keep the game under control, but I think oftentimes you create more anger and more animosity when you give a warning like that, because now your hands are tied.
Well, I think what Brian's saying is, look, if you think a warning needs to be issued, if he's throwing at him on purpose,
throw him out of the game.
Throw him out of the game, exactly. And now Brian Snitker is tossed. Well, I don't understand this at all. Number one, I can't imagine why in the world Hernandez would be throwing at Acuna deliberately here.
Right, he has no reason to. You know, I don't. This has nothing to do with what happened to Ronald last year, so there's no reason for him to do that. Certainly the Braves' anger has a lot to do with what happened to Ronald last year.
And he is called out on strikes. Aguilar, a little word with John Lipka there on that pitch, but it appeared to catch the corner. Oh, and now he's been ejected. So the Rays are going to lose Aguilar. So the pitch on the inside corner, Lipka called him out. Now he's ejected him.
Well, it looked like a questionable pitch either way. Aguilar obviously politely disagreeing with home plate umpire John Lipka. Here we're going to see a good replay of it. Yeah, I mean, it might have gotten the corner either way. Extremely hard pitch to hit for a right-handed pitcher or a right-handed hitter. It's great execution by LeBlanc.
So Aguilar's called out on strikes and ejected from this game. And with that, Seattle.
And a called strike 3, and Kane does not like that inside.
No, that's not a strike.
Pitch right there.
He got called on one last time up.
And he has been tossed from the game by Ryan Blakely.
Well, Ryan Blakely should be tossed for the game. That wasn't a strike. That's just a bad call. I don't blame Kane for getting upset.
Take a look at strike 3 call.
No, not a strike. I mean, I think if he wasn't rung up on the pitch on the inside corner last time up, I don't think Lorenzo would have been so upset, but that was clearly off the inside corner. And Ryan Blakely, he misses a pitch, he rings up Kane, and Kane gets thrown out. Just a bad call.
Runners will be on the move. A 3-2 to half. Strike 3. It was off. No, he got kicked out. It was definitely off the corner. That's a pitch Carapaz has been calling today. And here comes Brian Butterfield along with Joe Madden to protect their player. Tough way to end the inning.
Yeah, it's a good disciplined at bat by Ian Happ. He took some borderline pitches and ultimately got rung up on what should have been ball 4.
Still 5-1.
And that one is a called strike 3, and Daza threw his bat down and just got run by home plate umpire Paul Emmel. I think I'm reading his language that that was not a bad pitch. And Ron Gideon is going to escort the young outfielder away.
Check. Did he go? No. Garcia's reached on an error. He's popped up. Fans thought he went, and over to the.
Well, I'll tell you right now, John Bacon better keep his head out of the dugout. That's what umpires do. He's been in there all day long because there's been questionable calls. And I don't know if he threw somebody out or not.
I think he's been thrown out already.
Yeah. So he's going to tell him here. Okay.
Either Brocal or the manager, Brandon Hyde, somebody got thrown out.
Haps given up here in the month of August. 3-2. Wow. Okay, I'm not real pleased. Oh, and he just got thrown out of the game. He threw a glove back and it hit Manny Gonzalez, and Manny just ran him. Keon Broxton didn't like it. Helmet. Throws the glove. Whoa! Glanced off his mask. Oh, that was a gimme. Yeah, way too much carry on that. Yeah, went between the crook of his arm. And he was like, dude, really?
Goodness gracious. And walks will haunt, and David Bell's seen enough of this and going to go to the bullpen.
Garrett, we mentioned, was saying something over and over and over to the umpire, and he wound up getting thrown out of this game.
And the pitch before the double was a 2-2 pitch that was close but just off. Justin wanted it. We're going to carry it all the way through to the next pitch where Bam doubles against the right center field wall.
And so he's upset. Big deal. I mean, he has every right to be upset. From his vantage point, he feels like that was a pretty good pitch. And it's not just one pitch. For everybody at home, it's not about just one pitch. It could be a culmination of pitches. And he is exercising his opinion. He had his back turned, and right there he gets ejected. This will be on the other side. You can see him chirping. Hoberg coming out to make sure he heard every word that Justin Verlander had to say. But in this ball game, a little bit of a short fuse, and Hoberg wasn't going to have any more of it, and he ejected Justin Verlander.
That's strike 3. Charlie's going to get rolled. He is furious. This is about 2 months worth of frustration. I've never seen Charlie react quite like that. And you get it.
Absolutely.
And now Buddy's going to get run.
Jerry hasn't been good all night.
He's missed a lot of pitches. He's missed a lot of pitches. And, you know, we've seen Charlie get angry before, and he'll say something, but he usually walks off. I've never seen him react quite like that, and I think it's pretty simple. It's a culmination of a season gone wrong the last 6-8 weeks.
This overhead is out. Charlie immediately, he throws his bat down. Had the same call earlier in his second at bat. Look where that pitch is. It's not.
That's out.
It's out.
Low ball. Oh, he calls him out. Calls him out on a pitch that Reddick thought was ball 4. Baker tosses Reddick. That has not been a pitch that he has called a strike all day.
Yeah, this is not a good pitch, and Josh Reddick has every right to be upset. You talked about how intense this game has been all day long. Bit of a roller coaster ride for both ball clubs. The Astros missing on opportunities after being walked 10 times. But in that situation where they needed that base runner to bring George Springer to the plate with a chance with one swing to win it, this pitch below the knees, well below the knees of Josh Reddick is called a strike. That strikes him out and keeps him off base. And he gets ejected on top of it for arguing what is a ball.
A.J. Hinch talking now with the crew chief, Greg Gibson. That ball about shin high, called for a 3rd strike in a game where Reddick would have been the tying run on first and Springer the winning run at the plate.
We'll see how long Ricky stays out there.
Yeah.
He's still hot at Brian Knight, and he throws him out of the game. So Ricky is going to get, he got the heave-ho. He will get thrown out. Aaron Bummer will walk out.
Yeah, it looked like it came back a little bit. Just froze Tyler Flowers, who could not pull the trigger on it. Yep.
Then Ricky went out to the mound. Brian Knight gave him the heave-ho. They had a conversation as Ricky came off. He was already thrown out of the game at this point, but He's probably not going to get fined, only in that this wasn't one of those conversations that probably warranted that.
Guerrero just pointed at the umpire, and now he's been thrown out. Guerrero was frustrated by the called strike by Mike Estabrook on the previous pitch, and then I'm assuming he turned around and said, I swung at that pitch because of that ball you called a strike.
Yeah, that's just, you're not going to stay around long if you question that and then continue. I thought he gave Vladdy a chance to say something.
Yeah, he put up his hand as if to say, that's enough.
That's enough.
That's all you need to say.
At a call, strike 3. Now he's thrown out of the ball game. Reese has just been thrown out of the ball game here in the bottom of the 3rd inning for saying something to the home plate umpire, Will Little. Gabe coming out. At this point, though, I mean, Reese has already been thrown out.
Might as well get your money's worth, right?
Well, no runs and 1 hit and 1 man left for the Phillies here in the 3rd. Now Gabe chatting. 2-1 Mets as we go to the 4th.
One of the two.
Yes and yes. And a called strike 3 on Grandal. And here's Craig Counsell as Grandal having a word with Timmons. And I'm not sure if he threw him out or not.
Craig Counsell upset about the reaction Tim Timmons had to Grandal.
And we've been told that Grandal has been thrown out. It's been that kind of weekend for both dugouts with the calls behind the plate here today. And Counsell upset, obviously, an all-star catcher thrown out of a 1-0 game here on September 1st. Here's a look at the pitch.
Yeah, Grandal has about as good of an eye at the plate as anybody on the Brewers roster. He thought it was low. It was marginal. There's the strikeout pitch. That looked like it was marginal. So back-to-back pitches, you know, very close. Both of them called strikes. He did that. He flipped the bat. He got thrown out immediately. That's what was upsetting to Craig Counsell.
Trout over at first. Woodland pulled on the off speed, just did get a piece of it, keeps the at bat alive. Ausmus has just been tossed out of the game. He's arguing with the third base umpire, David Rackley.
I guess the argument is he's not coming to a stop.
Calva's not at all pleased with that call. There's some chirping coming from, and he tosses David Bell. Tossed somebody. Bill Miller with a short hook. And it might be Turner Ward.
Well, Turner looked like he grabbed his little file or whatever he has down there, maybe clipboard, and headed right up in the dugout steps.
And usually you see a little bit of time where an umpire will give any dugout, like, okay, that's enough, that's enough. That was very quick.
Well, unless there's already been a little bit jawing back and forth that we're not aware of.
That's clipped foul, and they're going to say it did hit the ground. Mark Carlson.
Wellington tried to sell it. I mean, it was a good idea. It just did hit the ground.
I think he thinks Mark Carlson is a version of terrible, and he just got run. Ricky Renteria just got thrown out of the game, and frankly, Carlson had that one right, but a number of them earlier, he did not.
No, and you kind of knew earlier in the game that Ricky was going to get the heave-ho in this one. It was just a matter of time, and that is that's not necessarily in this particular play. It was pretty much a lifetime achievement award.
He's saying you're gone, and Ricky's going to sit there. He says, come down then. Come on down. Mark Carlson looks to his teammates for some help. Ricky's just going to sit there. So Mark Carlson's going to go to the dugout. Ricky's going to wait for his arrival. Here comes the umpire making a house call to the White Sox dugout.
And Ricky wants a little more for his money's worth. I mean, he wants to tell him exactly what he thinks about his performance tonight. And as Mark walks over, gives him the boot. And that is number 8. We speculated earlier that tonight would be number 8 this year, and there it is.
Yeah, you could see that one coming from a continent away.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Well, Trey Mancini was called out on the check swing for strike 3. We think he was ejected, and let's get a look at it, Brian.
Yeah, here it is. Here's that breaking ball down and away, and hard to tell from in front whether he went or not, but Mancini definitely not happy with Ryan Atkinson at first base, and he has a few words for him, and home plate umpire not having any more of it, and Arnie Baylor kind of jumps in between, and then I think either Mancini got thrown out or Brandon Hyde got thrown out, and he pulled the old Earl Weaver. I love it.
Well, Brandon Hyde is still upset at that call on Richie Martin for running out of the baseline on the bunt. It cost the Orioles a run, and the Orioles would have had a 1-0 lead in the second, a runner at third and nobody out. So in the Orioles' minds, that one call has changed the whole game.
Ooh, man, I mean, I definitely think this could have gone either way. I mean, I've seen that called a no swing. I've seen it called a swing.
Players going right back into that inside corner. McKay gets Hernandez for a second time on the same pitch, that inside heater.
And he caught him looking. And you know.
Boy, he zeroed in on an inside corner, and Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, is locked in step with him, and that's going to be it for McKay. Kevin Cash has made the call. Well, there has been a pitching change, and Bill Miller has ejected somebody from this.
Happened during the warm-ups. You can see Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, is listening to somebody on the Blue Jays bench.
And you can see Teoscar saying, I said it, and then Charlie Montoyo is standing up for his player, and then Montoyo may have been thrown out of this game.
Crone. Oh, my. Laz Diaz called him out on a pitch that from up here looked inches outside. Sano left at second base. Take a look at where that pitch was, whether it was in the box. Oh, my goodness, that was 8 inches outside. Perez is behind the left-handed batter's box.
Set up like that in the Little League World Series. I mean, that's not a strike in a major league game. That's a big pitch with a runner in scoring position.
And Cruz expressing his measurement from how far the strike zone that pitch was. And then Rocco Baldelli is still out there talking to Laz Diaz. So I'm wondering whether somebody hasn't gotten tossed, and if it's Cruz, I don't think he was going to be used anyway. but there's a big bat on the Twins bench that might not be available. Crone is staying in the game, even though I think his thumb is hurting him. Well, I know your feeling on the electronic strike zone, but it's in a one-run game in September, it's too important to miss pitches like that.
Yeah, he hit a spot. That's the ball moving away from the plate that was never over the plate. So that's a tough pill to swallow. Sometimes the ones that at least start in the strike zone, a big sweeping slider, that was a little harder slider. That's frustrating.
The Cardinals are up 7-0 against the Pirates too.
That's twice for Turner today. He's not a happy hitter.
Stay in the game. Stay in the game.
Hurry up, Davey. Trey Turner is ejected. Davey's really hot. And he's ejected.
Well, Trey's got a legitimate gripe. It's an emotional game, and you understand, sometimes you cross the line and get thrown out. But you could see that one coming. It built up from his last at-bat, and he said something to Esterbrook as he left.
And I think Clint Hurdle is been ejected from this game. He has been, yes.
I think he doesn't agree with what you said about Ortiz.
I was just going to say.
I don't think Clint thinks he's called a good game today. He has been tossed from the game.
Well, that one and the previous pitch was also called a strike, and both ended up moving out of the strike zone. No more, no more. Okay, now you're out, says Roberto Ortiz. I said, all right, that's enough. That's enough. Tom Prince takes over.
Yeah, Frazier might be leaving also.
And now Frazier.
He'll head for the clubhouse as well.
Out of this game, being ejected.
Ooh, that's way outside.
Dan really had one of his more spotty calls. That ball was a good 3 inches off the outside corner. He's anticipating the break that doesn't get there, and you see on pitchcast where it winds up.
That is a tough beat for James McCann right there.
Well, puts you in a hole. Start of the at bat.
Struck him out.
Hall of Fame shortstop and player manager decided to come up with that, and Shift has taken points on the batting average away from everybody since.
And so the response of some hitters is to say, I don't look at batting average. And now some chirping from the White Sox dugout. James McCann is screaming, hey, if the last one was a strike, this one's got to be a strike.
Well, James is in
spot, he said.
The first pitch that was called a strike to him was just way off the plate. And I think Dan, when he has a look at it, will realize that he missed it by plenty. And James McCann is still really hot over that one pitch. It set up the entire at bat.
They're both off the plate. One was a strike, one wasn't. Same spot, he said. Get it right. He's not wrong.
Actually, the Santiago pitch was actually closer to the plate, as it turned out, but James gets the heave-ho.
2 out, bases loaded. Gets away from Momar, can't find it. It's on the first base side. Run scores. 5-3 game. Everybody else moves up. Here's a throw to first. Safe is Dietrich.
Got service out of the dugout.
Have a little confab here. He definitely goes.
Oh, but then he hits it with the bat.
On the recoil. Oh, yeah.
Thought that was strange because when Omar went down to block, it looked like he was in pretty good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Nauer, the third base umpire, is the one that called strike 3. Rung him up, basically.
Must not be reviewable.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Now Maniacta out of the dugout. He's letting him know this. Can't review it.
Man, oh man. Scott pointing at the big screen.
Yeah, he's out of here now. That's over with.
Get his money's worth now.
And here comes Maniacta again.
So it's going to be a strikeout wild pitch. Run scores.
What Scott's arguing is that there was the strike 3, obviously swung through it, but then he interfered with it when he hit it back to the backstop. But the umpires must not have seen it, and clearly they can't review it.
Strike 2. Ooh, Myers said something. And now pointing. Really fired up, and he's been ejected from this game. Well, you never see that with Will Myers. But he just frustrated and boiled over right there. He is ejected from the game. Eddie Green now out there talking to Ramon de Jesus. It's been an interesting strike zone, to say the least, today.
You know, it really has, and I can sense the frustration both sides. And one thing I've always said in a situation like this, I don't know what was said. I can only read what the body languages between umpire and player. But with the way things have been going this afternoon, you know, I think letting a player kind of vent his frustration, you know, kind of give him some leash a little bit. And once again, I don't know what was said. Might have been something that triggered Ramon de Jesus behind the plate. But you're right, the strike zone's been iffy this afternoon. Now, I will be honest with you, that last pitch looked like it was a pretty good pitch. Let's take a look at that last pitch. Oh, off the plate a little bit. I stand corrected. I was wrong on my initial thought. I mean, you know, it's easy for me to sit here and, you know, I look at Will Myers. He said something and started to walk away a little bit.
Travis Jankowski going to finish this plate appearance. 1-2 the count. He will inherit that count.
And then he just put his right hand on his face, and now he's got pine tar on his nose probably. Hernandez thought that was a strike, started skipping off the mound a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Woodward in trouble, and he's been ejected. Malinsky was yelling at him from home plate, came stepping off toward the dugout, and Woody wasn't going to let him up. But he's been tossed.
So what Woody's arguing here, you and I talked about it a little bit earlier, there were some pitches that were off the plate away to lefties into righties that had been called tonight. No doubt that the strike zone has gotten a little wide at times. And from Woody's view, he felt like that one was similar to other pitches that had been called tonight. And I think Hernandez sold it a little bit as well, right? You saw the reaction from Jonathan Hernandez after he threw the pitch. It was a ball. It was off the plate.
Well inside. Did he stop?
Oh.
No, says Tim Timmons.
It's not even close. Tim Timmons getting at 7 in the morning last night. That's not even close.
Wow. Horrible break for Howie in the Nats. His body went, but he kept the bat back. It's the bat, not the body.
You've heard me over the years on check swings. It's hard, and I realize it's hard, and I rarely get on an ump for a check swing, but he missed that one.
2-2 now to Howie Kendrick. Oh, that ball picked by Culberson, keeping it from going down the right field line. 2 outs, Robles to third.
Kendrick said something to Timmons as he ran by, too. And now Tim Bogar's diffusing it. Getting in between Kendrick, and Tim Bogart just got thrown out. Tim Bogart did a good job there, because Howie Kendrick had a chance to get thrown out. Who knows if Davey wants to keep Howie in the game after he pinch hit.
Well, Tim Bogart was pretty close to the umpire. He had pretty much the same view of that check swing as Tim Timmons did. Tim is really hot.
Timmons said you got in my face and said something, and Tim Bogart said I didn't get in your face and say anything. You read his lips on what's going on down there. Now Chip Hale's going to come out and coach first, I think. Yeah, that was a bad call. And a big difference in the count.
Into deep right center field. I think everybody except George Springer thought that he was going to catch it, and Dozier was doubled up, and now Alex is angry again with Lance Barrett as Garrett Cole strikes out his 10th.
That is called cheese at the knees. My goodness.
Well, in between innings, it appears that Alex Gordon was ejected by home plate umpire Lance Barrett, and then Ned went out there and after an argument with Barrett was ejected from the game, and so Brett Phillips takes over in left field.
Another breaking ball.
He's going to eject him.
And that
I have a bet.
Joe will not be happy about this.
Clint Hurdle would come out and say, don't eject him. That was a curveball. He wasn't trying to hit anybody. We got 3 of their guys. Let's just play. The umpire's in a bad position once he's issued warnings. And Joe's going to try to make a case here to Marquez, but it's too late.
I'm not sure what Brian's arguing here.
I think Snit's mad because, well, he's protecting his player. But he's mad right here because they're saying he went. And as you said, Chip, when we saw the ball never hit the bat.
That is as hot as I've seen Brian Snitker. Charlie Culberson tried to bunt. A ball hits him in the face, and he's called for a strike. And you just saw Brian Snitker say, shame on you. So he's been ejected from this game.
Wow. Did anyone happen to notice the first strike to Whit Merrifield in the bottom of the first inning? Huh. Look at Montgomery lock up there. Oh, well. Yeah. That's going to wake up the coaching staff there, and they didn't want to be woken up. And they're already on edge, feeling like the strike zone wasn't consistent with them last year. Well, I'm sorry if you had to hear some of that. He is working his bleep off, doing what? We don't know, calling balls apparently. It's a hard job being an umpire, but sometimes I wonder, with the big crowd here and almost nobody knows in the ballpark that someone's yelling from the dugout, if maybe it just helped for an umpire to just fold his ears in and just focus on the game. But it looks like Dale Swaim has just been ejected. Yeah. Oh, look at this. There's a little rebate for him. Oh, yeah. Rolling up. Just what he wanted.
And Hosmer is walking out towards the third base umpire, saying something to Carlos Torres, and was not happy with the check swing call and may have been ejected. Andy Green out there seems stunned. So he had to be ejected to be able to go out there and do that on the way off the field after his plate appearance, grounding out. So he must have been ejected.
Yeah, I'll be quite honest with you. I was marking down on my scorebook the play, and Eric was going back to the dugout. I honestly did not see what Eric was doing. He's saying terrible, and then, you know what?
2 terribles. That's not enough to get you tossed.
Yeah, and that far away, I mean, it's not like he's going up in his grill. And I mean, that's one where you just, I mean, personally speaking, as an umpire, now Andy just got tossed.
Wow.
So wait a second. Andy was talking to the home plate umpire, and Torres tossed him when he was talking to the umpire?
Well, he was yelling at him over the umpire's shoulder.
All right.
As the home plate umpire, Paul Nauert's crew chief, came out to interfere. And he kept yelling in the direction of Torres, and then Torres tossed him too.
I just think, like, Eric Hosmer's, trotting back to the dugout. Sure, he's saying terrible, terrible.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Strike 3 call.
You're right again, John.
A little off the plate. 5 strikeouts for Porcello. Somebody's thrown out of this ball game. I don't know if it was Harper, if it was Gabe. I think it was Harper. Jerry Mills, the crew chief, is coming down. Maybe it was Gabe because he hasn't been thrown out of the game yet.
I think they got both of them.
You think they got both of them?
I think they got both of them. I know one of them. I think that was the circle, like everyone here didn't come to see you type of deal. Yeah, I think Bryce said the magic word to that last pitch to Reese. That's not close.
There you go, Reese. Come on, baby.
I mean, Harp had everything. He had every reason to complain about the pitch to him. The last one to Reese looked like it was a good pitch, but
Joyce spoiled that. And Joyce takes strike 3. He didn't think much of that call. Sanchez has retired 10 of 11. That is his second strikeout. And Joyce, I think, just got thrown out. Brian Snitker doesn't even head to the plate to talk with Bill Welke. So here's Brian McCann, ball 1.
Now, needless to say, I don't know if Bill Welke, as you see Joyce here get ejected, he just had enough of it. I don't know if he'll be getting invited to the Braves Christmas party.
Pretty good chance he won't.
Not happy with maybe the home plate umpire, Manny Gonzalez, who's on his way out there, so this could be interesting. Cal Eldred's trying to settle him down. And now.
Oh, there we go. All right. Oh, there he goes.
You got to be a bigger man than that.
Well, Cal is a nice guy. Okay, he's not going to raise a lot of stink, but he could have just stayed out there and stayed with Montgomery and not let him pop off. But he might have said a bad word to him. I don't know. But you could tell Montgomery was frustrated.
Got to be a bigger man than that. Manny Gonzalez needs to understand that there's tension, and sometimes you just got to walk away. But he walked out there, and he was keeping an eye on Mike Montgomery, and just as soon as Cal Eldred left the mound, Manny Gonzalez could have turned around and head back to home plate with him. But he stood out there and he looked at Mike Montgomery and waited for him to say something. Cal Eldred leaves, he can turn around right now. But look at him. Huh? What? Huh? Just unless his parents are here, nobody paid money to watch Manny Gonzalez umpire this game.
For the first time tonight from the left-hand side, curveballs is strike 5. There goes Rojas, and there's no throw. Now they want it up. Got the corner up. That was the splitter. Missed his spot. Escobar can't believe it. Todd Tishner rings him up. And Eduardo's got to be careful here.
Tishner has barking at the dugout now. He's pointing into the Diamondback dugout. And somebody's been ejected from the bench.
It looked like he was pointing in Eric Hinsky's direction.
Well, Tishner was staring down Escobar, waiting for him to turn around, and then heard something from the bench. We'll sort it out when we come back. We stretch and Sandy out 3 in a row and 8 in the ball game. Now, here's a look at the strikeout to Escobar, and keep your eye on the umpire Tishner, who's just waiting for somebody to say something.
Good ear over there so he could hear everything that was being said, staring right into the Diamondbacks dugout the entire time. And we said we're not sure who got ejected over there in the dugout, but it looked like Eric Hinsky was being the most vocal of those on the bench.
Strike one to Josh Naylor, who's 0 for 2.
The 2-0 from Lambert. Strike call just a little low. And Dave Roberts can't believe it, and Roberts told to go back. Dave Roberts is the only manager to not be ejected from a game this year, coming into this game tonight. And he's going to get his money's worth here. It's just part of the game. You don't see a lot, or as much, I should say, as you used to years ago.
I mean, that was a quick, right?
It was a quick hook. You can't argue balls and strikes, but watch this, how quick it was. I'm sure he hears it and gives him the heave-ho. First time this year Roberts has been ejected.
To have a better record.
And there's a strike.
You know, along with playing is just being at the ballpark every day, going through the routine and getting ready. And then a change up down. We've seen a big strike zone so far.
Zoik deals. 1-2. Strike 3. Strong inning for Zoik. 3 strikeouts after the Gardner single. So the Yankees strand 1. We go to the second. 0-0. Just to Stanton, and probably a little bit of a layover from last night as well.
Well, you know what? Joe West has been around the game a long time. Everybody knows his attitude, but you know what? He ought to go if he hasn't seen the pitches from last night. And at third base, you've got no reason. What reason do you have to throw the manager out from across the field? And if I'm Aaron Boone, I'd call and see if I can get him thrown out.
Now, somebody else got ejected. This one from the home plate umpire rehab.
You know, Michael, if this continues, I got a good chance of getting thrown out from up here.
We can only hope. Ground ball.
Argument at third because Joe West has thrown Aaron Boone out of the game. In between innings, the Yankee bench was giving it to the home plate umpire, and Joe West from third base threw out Aaron Boone. And then he came out to argue his position with the veteran umpire, and it got pretty heated. We had mentioned the Yankees have been questioning the strike zone, and you can see Boone from the dugout is barking at the umpires, and then back down into the dugout he continues it, and from that point Joe West throws him out
from third base. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But Joe's the crew chief, and he said, okay, that's enough. He let him have his say. And Aaron's been thrown out, so he wants to get an explanation from the crew chief. So he's going to trot out there to talk to him. And Joe said, okay, I've had enough. That's it.
Aaron Boone is a very level-headed guy, but boy, you put the uniform on him, and he has a tremendous amount of competitiveness, and he is out of this ball game.
And called strike 3. I don't think Brad liked that call from Alan Porter. it's being. Oh, there it goes. Never mind. Gabe pushes Brad back. It's a pretty good pitch, though. Pitch cast to let you know where the pitch was. It was right on the line.
Yeah.
Allen wasn't even saying anything.
Yeah, and you know, he gave Brad a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
We would have seen it by now. Well, maybe you save it for the third time through. Maybe. Well, he's hearing it from Scott. And Scott's gone. Boy, that was, or maybe it was Tim Laker. Either way, that was fast.
That was really quick.
That's a sharp hook. Sam Holbrook, crew chief, our home plate umpire. Well, either Scott or Tim just got run.
And if the umpire hears something that he doesn't like and he's going to throw somebody out, but he's not sure who said it, it's typically the manager that's going to go. This is borderline down, Life-wise Supermo. He gets the call. Oh, that was quick.
Very often.
Gamble, center field, falling fast. That is going to be down, in and out of the glove. Kane's going to try to score. Here comes a throw, and Kane is going to be out at the plate.
All right.
And he's down in a heap. I don't think he ever got to the plate.
He's running on bad knees to start with and crashing into Walters. Boy, that's the last thing you need to see right now. My goodness.
And remember, the throw comes from center field here. If it comes from left field, I would say never gets overturned, because the throw automatically is going to take you into that lane just by the positioning and the angle. But this one is coming from center field. Here comes a call, and he's out. And now we're headed to the bottom of the ninth. Counsell is furious. Will Kane be able to continue? That is the big question. Counsell wants an explanation.
And lost in all that was a terrific throw from center field by Daza. That was a tremendous throw out there in center field.
All right, here we go. Ninth inning. I think Counsell just got tossed. And Josh Hader is coming in. All kind of drama here in Colorado. We'll take a break. We'll get it all set up